Thank you. Good afternoon to everybody. We were kind of laughing down there. I said I was a pilot, licensed pilot, and I said that was till I had children, and they consumed all my spendable income for myself. So anyway, it's kind of funny how things change. It's good to be with you today. I think that probably one of the things that really concerns me the most is that probably this country is facing an energy crisis, and it's not something that just started last month. The last few years have been pretty challenging to this country, and I don't think I've ever seen a time where in Washington there's always been crises, there's always been scandals, there's always been something going on up there, and there always will be as long as you have that many politicians in one building at the same time. But I don't think there's ever been as big a disconnect between the will of the people and the Congress of the United States of America. I don't think I've ever seen that in my short 52 years that I've been around. So hopefully that some of that will change going forward from the dialogue that's going on in Washington, and people in Washington starting to listen a little bit to the people of the United States of America. I have found out as a politician that really hell has no fury as compared to the voter, and they will make a difference at some point in time. We can not pay attention to the voters as politicians for a certain amount of time, but at some point in time they will raise up and try and make a difference for you by changing out who represents them. I do believe that American energy independence America will never become energy independent without a strategy or a plan. I feel like we're kind of wandering around out in the wilderness, and I think the state of Georgia really has kind of led from a standpoint of energy. From a few years back, the governor said we're going to have an energy strategy for the state of Georgia, and this is before the crises all arose. And I thought, what a leadership role that is to be able to say that, you developed an energy strategy for the state, and that was before the crisis really arose. He did the same thing with water. Not that we weren't having challenges with water, but came into office saying we're going to have a plan, some kind of plan out there. And I feel that same way as far as the country goes. We need some kind of plan or some kind of strategy. You hear them talking about bills that are going forward, and they're amending port projects to it and all other kind of spending projects to it, when we need to focus on the issue that's out there, focus on the crisis that we have. And I would like to see them do that. And I hope that somehow or another, if they're not going to accomplish anything before elections, which it doesn't sound like they are, that I hope that they will come back focused on the energy crisis and not focused on taking other projects and hooking to it, and let's stay focused on moving this country ahead and looking out for the future of this country and for the future of the young people that are coming along. We've all enjoyed it pretty good all our lives, and we're going through some challenges now, but we've had a good life, and the young people coming along, we need to make sure that we leave this country better for them than we had it. The state of Georgia, I want to go down a few issues, things that we've dealt with and things that we've done. The governor's energy challenge of 2020 that the governor has put out there, I think, was a leadership role of saying that we can do something even as we sit here today. He had the state's energy leadership initiative, taking the state agencies and departments and saying, you need to reduce your usage of energy by conservation by 15% by 2020. And those are things that we can do right up front, and those are very reasonable things to do. The Conserve Georgia initiative, the state's energy, land, and water conservation public education process of that. I know that when I was younger, I'm young now, but when I was younger, we had an energy crisis in the 70s, and in school, below every light switch there was a little sticker that said turn off the lights if you're the last one to leave the room. Those are simple things that we all can do. Governor Perdue also is challenging Georgia citizens, businesses, and organizations, and school systems and communities themselves to reduce their energy usage by conservation. And I think you've seen, I think I saw Savannah signed on to that conservation initiative, and I know Houston County School System signed on to that initiative, and you're seeing somebody else, some other municipality not long ago signed on, so you're seeing more and more people sign on to the simple things that we can do up front that make some sense. Energy Innovation Center. We set up the Energy Innovation Center underneath GFA, and Jill Stuckey, I don't know how many of you know her, but I believe if we take her and Sarah Palin, we could probably turn this whole thing around real quick. She is one hard-working lady that works nonstop. I think she and I converse and talk through emails and pens 7 days a week, and I never find her asleep. It's amazing when I'm talking to her by pen and an email all weekend long even. They set up that center to bring on the alternative energy initiatives that the state can bring to the state, that we can help bring here. You're seeing a lot of projects go up, from cellulosic projects to other different type of ethanol projects, and we were just talking a little while earlier before we started, and that's not the answer to everything, but it's just one little part of a solution. I drove up here on my ethanol that I got in Perry, Georgia, and to be honest with you, all that money stays in Georgia. That's a wonderful thing. If we can be some small part of making a difference, of keeping money here in the state and in the United States of America, I think that that's a very good initiative for all of us to try to do. And I know a lot of you probably own flex fuel vehicles and don't even know it, or you know it but don't know where to get it. But I think that as we grow that source around the state, that it's a good thing for us to do. The bioenergy one-stop shop that they set up, this is a good part of government. This is government trying to find ways to shorten the permitting process for companies coming into Georgia to set up alternative fuel businesses and energy plants that are producing alternative fuels. By having the one-stop shop, they can come, and we have all the different agencies there that they're going to have to be permitted with. And by shrinking that time span of them having to deal with all the different agencies is something positive government can do. The state energy strategy, as I talked about, the governor state energy strategy that we had put together was, I think, a very forward-looking process by saying the state had no strategy at all. So we put together an energy strategy that looks at all the different facets of energy in the state of Georgia, from infrastructure for delivering energy to the consumer, to looking at the different types of power sources for this building, whether it be nuclear or other sources of energy, looking at economic development and how Georgia can create its own native energy. All the different facets that occur with that, looking at energy and the environment, all of this is put together in the energy strategy. We're going to that energy strategy is being updated now. It should be out maybe by the end of this month or sometime in October, I hope. And what I want to do is that when we get that energy strategy updated and back to us, I want to take that and put a roadmap together for the state of Georgia that says this is what the state of Georgia has to offer for delivering energy to itself. How much can we produce in different alternative fuels? Looking at nuclear, how much nuclear energy can we produce? How much biomass energy can we produce? You've seen a lot of news articles lately on that. Look at all the different facets and put that strategy together for this state and say this is how much we can produce ourselves. This is how much clean energy we can produce, how much nuclear energy we can produce, how much alternative fuels we can produce. This is how much petroleum products we have coming into the state. How can we make that better? And put that together and show how we can be energy independent as a state, or show what the gap is behind what we can be energy independent on and what we cannot be on, so that we'll know where we stand as a state. And then we're going to mail that to Washington and tell them to take a read it and see if they can figure out how to do that too. But I think that's very important that we do this, and I think that we're making a lot of headway by looking ahead on energies. We did a lot in biofuels, and we did something that is a one-term program, and I don't believe it's government's role to go out and solve all the issues. It's government's role to get out of the way and take the roadblocks down to make sure that that the private market can deliver the solutions to the state and to the country. We did a one-time E85 grant program, and it's a one-time, and it was to stimulate the process of having E85 pumps around the state so that the consumer could purchase that ethanol that we're actually producing in this state. And so we did that program and moved it ahead. We have biodiesel factories around the state. We have 8. We have 3 ethanol factories, and then we have the cellulosic ethanol plant going up in Soperton of Range Fuel. So we're moving ahead with all those projects and growing that industry. Solar energy. Soneva, as you know, announced their plant that they're building here in the state of Georgia, and they worked very hard with Georgia Tech on that. And I want to say Georgia Tech and the University of Georgia have both done unbelievable research and breakthroughs in energy projects, and I am really proud to work with them on a lot of stuff that they've done. They're working with us with the United States Air Force on some projects that we're working on, trying to deliver energy independence to the United States Air Force. And so that's going along real well. The state's been very involved in that. The sales tax holiday that we passed this year, we added on to it energy efficient products. That's a simple thing that government could do to help entice the motivation of people buying energy efficient products. The sales tax kind of capping of energy for manufacturing out there. We're trying to help our businesses survive, our manufacturing businesses survive in this state, from kaolin industry to all different types of industries in the state that create a lot of good jobs and a lot of revenue for this state, but they're getting hammered as we continue to go up in the escalating price of their fuel. The cost of energy going up, and we're trying to cap that for them on the tax side so they'll know, at least have that stability in their business plan. Nuclear energy, Georgia Power is doing a lot there. We're trying to make sure and help every way we can as a state to move that process forward. We have to increase our nuclear output in this state. It's a good, clean energy. It produces good economic energy source for this state. So with that, I don't know if I'm getting close. You're kind of squirming over here, so it's kind of hard to put a lot in 12 minutes. But I want you to know that the state is being very aggressive on doing the things that government should do in trying to help alleviate and bring down roadblocks to help private industry deliver energy sources to the state of Georgia. Thank you very much.